Good morning and welcome back to the Sunday Screen Printing Shop. We're going to be exposing all of those screens that we prepped yesterday and then also getting them on the press registered, and we'll start doing some printing. But before we get into that, I wanted to make note that today is officially 1 month that we've been in business as Sunday Screen Printing and almost a year since we started screen printing. So subscribe. We're documenting our journey from the start and we're gonna see where we go. So let's get into the video. Before we head into the darkroom, I wanted to break down the film outputs that we're gonna be doing. So these are all of our neck tag film outputs that we have. There's a total of 6 of them, and then these are for our left chest print here. The reason that I'm starting with these little screens is because we're dealing with that higher humidity, even though we have a dehumidifier in here. I want to experiment a little bit, and I care less about these little screens. So I'm gonna start with those and use them to kind of dial in our exposure times. I need to be using I'll throw it in on the next screen so we can see what we get, but I do have an exposure calculator. This is so nice to have. I used it a ton when we were first kind of trying to work through some issues when we were learning like a year ago. That last screen we did with the exposure calculator, or the exposure meter, burnt out perfectly, which means that we are looking good for our exposure times. And now we can get onto our chest print ones. I have all 6 screens exposed. I'm gonna wash this last one out and then we'll head back into the workshop and we'll start registering these prints. Before we throw these screens on the press, I wanted to give you just a close-up of what that exposure meter looks like. And as you can see here, that's an 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So all of that washed out, but it's stuck at 7, which means that this screen is properly exposed. So now that we know it's properly exposed and we got it all dry, I am gonna now post-expose it. So let's go back into the darkroom to the light box and I'll show you that process. Ryanette recommends that you post-expose them for at least double what you exposed them for originally. So we exposed them for around 3 minutes, which means to post-expose, we're gonna do it for 6 minutes. We got all of our screens post-exposed, which means we're finally ready after all of the issues that we had and everything to get the job on the press. We do have one of those like fancy little laser machines, but I can't, I'm like old, man. I can't get down with it. It hurts to use. It's so like surprisingly inaccurate. I feel so much more comfortable lining up with my yardstick. The edge of my platen is pretty square, so we'll come up to the pretty tippy top here. We draw our line, and we line up those top registration marks right there with the line that we know is straight, and that gets us a pretty good general consensus, and then that's where the micro registration comes in. It's just kind of playing around with it when you're setting your screens up, you know? So now we can grab all our ink and it's time, baby. I did fix that orange. I just went old school and I did red and yellow. Here's our purple. We're gonna just, nice little layer. And now we're gonna throw on our, you believe. I'm actually super stoked to see how this turns out now that it's starting to like actually come together and stuff. Because I think these colors, especially with no like underbase, they're gonna kind of come out a little muted, which is the whole point. And so I'm pretty excited to see. And yeah, I just love doing these projects for our own clothing brand, because when you get to do stuff for yourself, it makes it so much less stressful and it's just fun. That's actually how I got into screen printing, is through my clothing brand. Straight out the bedroom, baby. Started it a year after high school because I was depressed and didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. Last year, we took the leap of faith and I quit my job, full-time career at a bank, and haven't looked back. And for the longest time, we didn't want to be like a screen printing company. We were kind of against it. But we started doing so many like side jobs and stuff. And so it made me really get serious with it. And so I started Sunday screen printing. And then I realized that I really enjoy doing this. And I like being a screen printer. It's fun. I wouldn't honestly want to do anything else. But enough of that, let's get this print started. We're gonna flash first, just so we can activate the water-based platen adhesive. We do use water-based platen adhesive and not the spray adhesive. One, I don't like aerosols in the air. I don't want to breathe that shit in, even though I breathe in all this other stuff. And two, with water-based platen adhesive, you can reactivate it. So say you throw a sweatshirt on there and it gets all fuzzy, you just take some water, scrub brush it, and you can reuse the platen right then and there. We're gonna start with our base color here. And we're gonna lay that down. Oh, there's still some white in that ink. We're gonna mix it on the screen. We're here for it. Moment of truth. Man, this is such a We're gonna call it for tonight. I just really wanted to get kind of an initial lineup. So there's what we have, nice little chest print. And I'll take you guys over here and I'll show you it up close. You can see that we still have some registration to line up. It's really just the orange layer. The orange layer just needs to come up just a smidge and then it'll line up just fine. But for first print, I think it kind of turned out kind of what we were expecting. So yeah, there's our first test print, and then tomorrow we're gonna be able to print the back of it and we'll have a complete shirt. We met our objective today. We had a finished left chest print. We still have to make some micro adjustments to it, but we are on track now. Tomorrow we're gonna burn the screens for the back print and we're gonna do the testing for that. And then hopefully Friday we'll go into production and we'll be done with another project. Like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate you watching these videos, and have yourself a fantastic night.